Alright, hey guys, what is going on? Brian back here with another recap video. This is a bit of a re-recorded video that I'm re-recording um, for my Impact Wrestling recap. Last night I made a video recapping everything that went down on last night's episode, but apparently there was no audio and no volume, so I don't know what's wrong with my webcam. I recorded it on my webcam, and I don't know what happened to the audio. So I have to do this on my phone. But last night on Impact, of course, the road to Bound for Glory continues. We just coming off the heels of this past Saturday night's Victory Road event that saw Eric Young retain the Impact World Championship over Eddie Edwards. Deonna Purrazzo retained her Knockouts Championship over Susie. Plus a bunch of other stuff happened. So basically this show was the fallout from that episode, from that show, as well as more build-up and hype towards Bound for Glory taking place on October 24th. So let's just get right into it. We started off the show with a rematch from Victory Road that saw Tommy Dreamer defeat Brian Myers via disqualification. That happened on last night's episode. Myers got disqualified for using a kendo stick that he brought into the ring, but then Dreamer got a hold of it, but then Myers got a hold of it after raking Dreamer's eyes. So that was pretty much it for that. Afterwards, Myers would go after Dreamer with the kendo stick, beating him down until officials and security had to come in and get him out of there. Then we had Moose looking all over the venue for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, a few months, I think it was a month or two ago, EC3 stole the championship from Moose, and then had threatened to get rid of it or bury, or give it a proper funeral. So Moose was looking all over the venue for the title. We had a Johnny Bravo and his wedding party backstage segment where Bravo let everybody know that the wedding between him and Rosemary is costing him a lot of money. And Falaba, Bravo's best man, told him, "Don't worry, I'll get the money. Don't worry about it." And we would find out a little bit later on what his plan was to get money for Bravo and his wedding. Then we had Jordynne Grace answering the Defeat Rohit challenge. She would actually beat Rohit Raju, the current X Division champion, to become the new champion. However, Rohit, always trying to find a way around every situation he gets in, said, No. This was not for the X Division title because he told the referee you never raised it above your head and declared it being an X Division title match. So therefore, Jordynne Grace wins the match, but still your X Division champion, Rohit Raju. This would lead to Rohit running into Scott D'Amore backstage, and D'Amore said, "You know what, Rohit? You're a man of giving opportunities. You're a man always wanting to give opportunities. I'm going to give you an opportunity. At Bound for Glory, you're going to defend your X Division championship in a 6-person scramble against Jordynne Grace, Willie Mack, TJP, Chris Bay, and Trey." So that is another huge title match signed for Bound for Glory. Also signed for that big event coming up on October 24th on a Saturday. The world title match between Eric Young defending against Rich Swann. On top of that as well, the Knockouts title, Deonna Purrazzo defending against Kylie Ray. We earlier last week, it was made official that the Motor City Machine Guns will defend their World Tag Team Championships against in a four-way match against the North, Ace Austin and Madman Fulton, and the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. So those are four or five big title matches taking place at Bound for Glory. Also, we saw last night on Impact the Rascals defeating Triple XL in a bit of a rematch from Saturday's Victory Road, where the Rascals picked up the win. Dez and Wentz they picked up the win on last night's episode over Triple XL. What I put down as Falaba steals money. He bumped into Hernandez earlier in the night, spilled water on him, and then when Hernandez was taking a shower, Falaba went into the dressing room, saw Hernandez's clothes laid out on the like the towel rack or whatever it is, and he started feeling around the clothes and started looking under the clothes, and he found Hernandez's chain that he keeps the wad of cash on, and he wound up stealing it. So it looks like when Hernandez finds out, he's going to come looking for Falaba, and he's going to be looking for his money. So, but Falaba lived up to his word. He said he was going to get money for Bravo, and it looks like he proved why he deserves to be the best man. So yeah, that was pretty much it for that. Then we had a segment at the Rehabilitation Center where Rich Swann has been getting ready for Bound for Glory. They talked with his doctor, said that Rich has been here every day. He's been training, getting ready. He's ready to go. But little did Rich Swann know that when they called him over for an interview to ask him a few questions, little did he know that the world-class maniac, Eric Young, who was disguised as a medical technician working on one of the machines, would be there as well and attacked Rich Swann, trying to re-injure him, building more heat as far as this feud between Rich Swann and Eric Young that has been going on since Eric Young made his return back at Slammiversary. As far as their match at Bound for Glory, more heat to that feud and more fire to that, or more fuel to the fire as far as that feud is concerned. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Eric Young attacked Rich Swann, went after his injured ankle, basically trying to hurt Rich Swann and making sure that he does not show up at Bound for Glory, and if he does, not showing up at 100%. So that was pretty much it for that. We had a Motor City Machine Guns interview that would be interrupted by the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. Basically, they were just trash-talking each other. So that was pretty much it for that. Gallows and Anderson telling the Machine Guns that they're going to make sure that they're healthy, that nothing bad's going to happen to them between now and Bound for Glory. It's basically being like guardian angels for them to make sure that they don't get hurt, because Gallows and Anderson want to take the tag team championships. So that's pretty much it for that. Then we had Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. They defeated Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan, which was pretty solid, in my opinion. Pretty solid tag match. Backstage watching the match was Nevaeh and Havoc, who have had issues with not just Tasha and Kiera, but also Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. I've had issues with Havoc and Nevaeh as well, especially with Havoc and Rosemary, and that whole situation that's been going on between those two over the last few months, specifically with what happened a couple weeks ago where Rosemary wanted Havoc to help her bring back James Mitchell, and Havoc said no, and then they started brawling. So that was pretty much it for that. They also announced next week a couple of huge matches. One is going to be a three-way knockout tag match. It's going to be Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan versus Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie versus Nevaeh and Havoc. So that's a huge match set for next week. Another big match has to do with the Battle of the Big Men. It's going to be Luke Gallows or Doc Gallows taking on Madman Fulton. Also next week, in what was set up because of a backstage interview and an altercation and brawl that happened, Kylie Ray, who was being interviewed a little bit later on in the show, she would be interrupted by Kimber Lee. Kimber Lee made fun of her for what happened with Susie on Saturday, and she basically told her, or Kimber Lee told Kylie Ray that the same thing is going to happen to her at Bound for Glory, because Deonna Purrazzo is going to break Kylie Ray's arm when she challenges Deonna for the Knockouts title, and that set Kylie Ray off. She went after Kimber Lee, took her out, beat her up, and then that was what made that match official for next week, Kylie Ray versus Kimber Lee. Also on the show last night, the Deaners, they took on Crazy Steve and Johnny Swinger. This one was pretty much a nonsense match. This came about because of what happened when Johnny Bravo met with his wedding party. The Deaners, Swinger, and Crazy Steve, they started getting into a little bit of an argument, and that led to this match being made. Swinger and Crazy Steve were not ideal tag partners, and that showed on last night's episode. Basically, anytime Swinger wanted Crazy Steve to give him something so he could cheat and use to cheat, Crazy Steve kept messing up, and then the referee started getting annoyed with Swinger and his antics, and that's what caused the Deaners to win. Then we had Heath meeting with Scott D'Amore. Heath, of course, has been looking to become a part of the Impact Wrestling roster. D'Amore had set up a deal for Heath to sign, but Heath had his own deal made up. He showed the offer to D'Amore. D'Amore didn't like the offer, and one thing led to another, and it got real heated to the point where, you know what, D'Amore was like, you know what, no. Maybe if you can, do that, sign the deal we have already, that we have made for you, then we can come back and, you can get your deal. However, one thing led to another, and no deal was made. So it looks like they're going to continue this storyline with Heath not working for Impact, and then that was it. And then Heath ran into Rhino, and Rhino's like, was there a deal? And Heath's like, no. He started yelling at Rhino and walked away, and that was pretty much it for that. Then we had EC3 with his funeral for the TNA World title. EC3 wound up tossing the TNA World title off of a bridge. So that was pretty much it for that. Then we had a Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan backstage segment where Callahan's like playing like the puppet master, trying to get inside Shamrock's head, telling him that people want the old Ken Shamrock. And Shamrock says, or Callahan's like, well, who's going to be next? Shamrock grabbed him, but then Callahan's like, get him, and there was like a security guard or somebody walked past, and Shamrock went after him, beating him up, And that was pretty much it for that segment. And then in the main event, the Motor City Machine Guns, the Impact World Tag Team Champions, they took on Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. Pretty good, solid main event. Both teams looking to build momentum heading into Bound for Glory. The Machine Guns picked up the win because the North had came down and they had a chair with them, like they were going to get involved, but then the referee stopped them. But then here comes Gallows and Anderson, and they went after the North. Then I think Gallows had hit Madman Fulton, and that allowed the Machine Guns to pick up the win in the main event. So, yeah, pretty much. I thought it was a really good episode last night. A lot of things happened as far as concerning Bound for Glory and the build up to that event. So, with that being said, I know this is a long video, but if you guys watched last night's episode of Impact, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. So yeah, tonight is NXT as well as AEW Dynamite. I am recording this on a Wednesday, so I'll probably be watching NXT, so I'll probably have a recap of what happened on tonight's episode of NXT. So with that being said, if you guys watched, like I said before, if you guys watched last night's episode of Impact, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. This has been my recap, long recap of what happened on last night's episode of Impact Wrestling. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.